Welcome back, everybody. I thought I would put the 39.7 aside, as I had mentioned in my last video. I had a couple projects for the weekend, and I don't know if you can tell, but gee, I woke up with a cold yesterday. So anyway, I got a little bored of sleeping and watching TV. So I wanted to show you. This is a PT6. I'm going to actually send this one to my mom. I've got it out of the case, but the case looks like this. I'll show you guys once I get it in there, but it's a basically it's a PT2 or a PT4 from 1941, but it's in a wooden case. Cost a couple of dollars more. It's an All-American 5, and this is the first radio I ever restored. One of the things that actually kind of annoys me, and I didn't do this, but somebody put silicone to repair the speaker so it doesn't flex quite as much. So this doesn't have really any bass, but it's fine for listening to the news and whatnot. And like I said, I was going to send it to my mom so she can listen to her talk shows, her AM talk shows, because she keeps using those cheap $20 boom boxes you can buy at, like Walgreens. And they just sound like crap, and they last about a year and then they quit working. So anyway, this needs to be aligned, but there's a couple other things about it that are kind of annoy me. And as you guys know, or most of you know, one of the problems with these full fives is, or full five, sorry, cold medicine, All-American 5s is when you turn them on in the earlier days, this uses a 35Z3 rectifier, and unlike, say, a 35Z5, this doesn't have a heater tap in it. So when you first turn it on, there's a rush of current and the bulb gets really bright. And that's kind of always annoyed me. And consequently, every, I don't know, I'm going to say 20 to 30, probably more than that, but eventually the bulb burns out. It gets tired of being, even though it's just momentarily a voltage spike, and it's about 9 volts, I think, is what I measured it, or that's what my fluke caught, because it's so quick. Anyway, so basically what happens is when you turn it on, this happens. So you saw that flash. Now I've seen in a couple other sets people have done, that flash can be even brighter, and I've seen people who just put in higher voltage bulbs. The problem I have with putting, or I could also put a 44 in there, and but it's too dim. It only lights up part of the dial scale. One of the things that I thought I would do was, I have these LED bulbs. Oh, what did I do with it? I have these LED 47/44 bulbs. Here, they're used for pinball machines. I don't like LEDs, but my mom wouldn't notice the difference. It doesn't actually look that bad when it's in there. This is supposed to be warm white, but these were really cheap. They were 75 cents or so each. So this is supposed to be warm white, but really it's kind of purple. But it's better than the cool white ones that they have. I don't like that blue color. It strains on my eyes, and it just annoys me. So anyway, another problem I have with these radios is, and I know my mother will do this. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up here for a second. The other thing about the LED is that it can actually handle voltages from 5 to 20 volts. So when this one is in, nothing, I mean, the bulb just lights. It doesn't get dim, it doesn't get brighter, it just lights. So The other problem, and like I said, I know she'll do this, is it used to be in the, well, let's say the phone rings. So instead of you and I and everyone else we know would just turn the radio down if we thought that, but I know my mother would turn it off, and then she would turn it back on. And I have plenty of bulbs, so I don't really mind doing this. And this is not an old bulb; it's one of the newer ones. But anyway, so what's going to happen is she's listening to the radio. Well, I guess I could tune the station in.
And many other.
Okay, so you tune in the radio, the station is going, and you think you hear the phone ring. You turn it off. Oh no, it wasn't ringing. Boom. I'm just laughing because every time I've done that when I was testing it, it blew the bulb, and this time it did not. Okay, well, let's... I gotta see if I could try to get it to blow. Yeah, well, it doesn't want to blow. So, again, I think that's pretty funny because it had been blowing. So anyway, be that as it may, it was still bothering me. So, and this may be one of the newer bulbs I just bought. I tried a different brand because one of the other things I was running into with the bulbs I was getting from Pinball Life, these advanced micro lights, I mean, everything's made in Taiwan anyway, but one of the issues that I've come across on these is that the machines they use to build these, if I could come across one, they get really sloppy. Of course, now none of these are showing this issue. They get a little sloppy with the amount of solder that they put on the bottom. This one looks like it might do it. And I don't know if you can see that. It's not really that bad. So what happens is the solder blob is too big. And what I've been doing is I've been having to sand it down, removing some of it, because the bulbs won't go in far enough to catch the lock. It seemed to be a particular problem with the 44 bulbs, but I guess I just got lucky and picked all those out already. So I'm going to try a different brand. I'm still laughing over this thing not blowing. Anyway, so you can see the flash. It bothers me. So a couple of years ago, I came across an article on the Antique Radio Forum, and somebody had suggested taking 2 Zener diodes. I think they use 3 watt, but all I could get over at the local electronics store were these 5 watts. I mean, you can get them at Mauser, but I'm only paying 8 cents for these, and they're 20 cents at Mauser, plus it's local, so... Anyway, so what they wanted you to do was, or what they suggested doing is you take 2 Zener diodes, you basically solder them at the anodes together, so you have both cathodes, and then you just put the cathode across the lamp, and what that'll do is, these are 6.8 volts, so it will it'll clamp down the voltage when it goes above 6.8 volts. That prevents the bulb from popping. So, anyhow, I'm going to show you that actually does work, and I'll go ahead and solder it in, so I will be right back. Hey there guys, welcome back. I decided last night to just go to bed, so I feel a little bit better today. Before I went ahead and soldered that in there, there's a couple things. I went through a couple of different bulbs and realized that what I'm doing here probably isn't necessary. I don't know what bulbs I had that kept popping, but none of the ones I just tested, another half dozen, but I don't want to do this anymore because I'm going to blow up the rectifier. As it is, I'm going to go ahead and retest all the tubes before I box it up and ship it out. But before I went ahead and soldered in the diodes, I went ahead and soldered these together. But I I just wanted to show you when I use one of these little LEDs that the brightness doesn't change. Shut that off. So, I guess I'll turn this on. Alright. So, yeah, so I'll go ahead and turn it on. And as you can see, the LED bulb does not really get any dimmer or brighter. I'm going to go ahead and solder this in. A couple of the other things is that the volume control in this is a little bit crunchy there at the bottom. And I went ahead, without taking it out, I sprayed some contact cleaner and then followed it up with some deoxit chaser. So it's actually pretty good. Let me tune a...
We gotta get our minds, we gotta get our corn, we gotta get our courage.
Right at the bottom it's a little crunchy. It's gotten better down at lower volumes. But the shaft on this one, since it's a wooden radio, is really long, and none of the standard sizes are going to work. It won't. The shaft probably won't even come through the hole. And I only have a limited number of really long shafted ones, so I'll sift through my things. I've got the two best ones sort of reserved for two other projects, so I may just leave this the way it is.
Begin to upgrade the cities because...
Anyway, so I'll just show you here when I turn this off for a second and then turn it back on. There really isn't much of a flash. Again, I'm not all that fond of the color, but my mom won't notice. So I will be right back when I solder in the diodes to show you the bulbs doesn't flash. So I will be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. I went ahead and soldered it between the two. There's one of those can domes here. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, gotta be careful. I didn't feel like unsoldering the antenna. So this is one of those can domes. It's 40 between these two. Between these two, it's 80. The entire thing is 130. This reads 44. Anyway, so this is still good, although generally they are bad. Anyway, this is the 40 ohm resistor, which is the shunt in case the bulb burns out, so the string stays lit. Don't mind my shrink wrap here. As I said, this was my first radio, so I got some wires I'm going to replace here. This white one, for example, going from the oscillator coil to the tuner. It's cracking right at where the wire goes through the hole, and that's probably not good. And I did leave a few of the rubber wires in there that were still pliable. These are actually still pliable. Anyway, I'm going to go through it and just double check. Anyway, so I soldered the diodes in between here. So let's go ahead and turn the radio upward. I'm also going to test the tubes again. I just said that. Probably not a good idea for me to be working on a radio when I'm on cold medicine, but anyhow. So, what I want to see if I can get both of these in here. Well, anyway, so the number 47 bulb is in there. You should be able to see that. I think I wanted you to see the... Let's see, maybe if I do that. Oh yeah, you can see it. If I remember correctly, the current doesn't fly up, but at any rate, so when I turn it on, boom. Yeah, the current flew up. I saw it. As you can see, though, the bulb did not flash super bright like it did. So that means that the Zener diodes are doing their job. Excuse me. I was fighting that cough back. So the radio does work. When I had checked the voltages when I was testing this out, it drops the voltage just 0.7 volts, and it does that across the whole string, which doesn't really make any difference when you spread it out between the 5 tubes. But anyhow, so I'm going to show you what it's... Well, maybe I really do need to... that volume control. I don't know if you can hear that. Anyway, so I'll just show you when you turn it off and then back on real quick. There's no big flash. So I don't know. Must be a Bible station. Here's my broadcaster. So as you can see, it works. So that's my little solution for the flashing, the initial flash on the bulb. Again, like I said, since the bulb wasn't really popping, I don't know how necessary that was, but it's just one of those little things that bugged me. And well, I saw an article that showed how to address it, so I thought, well, what the heck? Why not? It cost me 16 cents in for the Zeners and well, probably $2 worth of the 47 bulbs, but anyhow, so there's that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and test the tubes, and then I'm going to do my little bit of rewiring, and then I'll go ahead and align this. So I guess I'll make this a two-part video. But thanks for watching, and I hope everybody had a good Labor Day, and I'll talk to you soon.